What up, Chicken Nuggets? Welcome to Sports Cards Are Dope podcast. We talk sports cards and stuff. This is a fun episode because apparently PSA has stealthily, like they're a Tom Cruise like indie film, because he only promotes the blockbusters, slid on in there, slid in the DMs and said, hey, guess what? We're changing the centering for PSA 10s. So let's chat about it. Give your thoughts. This is fairly new, so I'd love any thoughts you got. If you're on YouTube, put it in the comments. If you're on Spotify, they have comments. If you're on Apple Podcasts, you have no voice. I'm just kidding. I love Apple Podcast peeps. I love you. Okay, so I got a lot of this information from some card forums where people are talking about this. So this is as of like February 6th. So it's very recent for when a lot of this conversation started. So if it changes or it's wrong, I'm sorry. I never said I was Wikipedia. I'm just a guy standing in front of a girl or guy on a screen talking about sports cards. So I'm going to hit you with the key points. So PSA has quietly changed its grading standards for centering, okay? The old standard was with a PSA 10, they allowed 60-40 centering. I have one of these, one of those little, I think it's Mr. Minty. He has like a centering tool. You can like put over the card and you can see how far off it is. 60-40 centering. The new PSA 10 now requires a 55-45. That's 5 tighter towards the center, in case you needed a little math lesson. Tarver Academy on YouTube. Check them out. I hear great things. Also, a lot of the math videos are pretty old because I've been doing teacher videos. You didn't ask for that info. So there's not been an official announcement by PSA that I've seen as of right now. They just updated their website. Somebody found it, and then the word hath spread like the Black Plague with sports card collectors. So the collectors, honestly, I think what initiated was some collectors were seeing fewer PSA 10s, leading to speculation about the pop control. So before I get into the takeaways, I will say, in my mind, over the past couple years, and I'd never heard this from anyone else, it's something I noticed. I have noticed that the centering is off a little. I would wait and send that card to PSA. I prefer SGC. I've done a couple with Beckett whenever I've gone to like the Dallas Card Show, and then I just like sent off some stuff. Not a lot, but like I know between SGC and PSA, I know if it's off center. I'm like, honestly, PSA, like a lot of times I feel like they just roll the dice when it comes to 10s. And so I'm like, I'll take the risk on getting a 10 there. Like I sent in a card recently. It was some rookie silver, and it was a little off center. And I could tell, like a Luka. I had a Luka optic. I bought it for like $60 at a card show, and it was off center. Like it's those, with those optics, they got the white border. It's so much easier, and it's like a rectangle inside of the rectangle. And so it's off center more often from what I've seen. And I can visibly see this off center. Sent it in a PSA, came back a 10. Okay. So that's the way it's always been in the past. Now, will this change things? Will it elevate the value of some SGC 9.5s? Because SGC 9.5, I've said it for years, it's the most underrated grade in sports cards. Because like SGC 9.5s, like whereas PSA, it might have a little spot or corner, since they only do 9 or 10, they'll round up or round down depending on what it is. With SGC, it's like if it's got one little imperfection, it's a 9.5. Okay, it has to be perfect to be a 10. And so I feel like if you're wanting a quality card, you can honestly equate, in my mind, it's Tyler's opinion, and I'm just, the price, blah, blah, blah. In my mind, the quality of the card, which is what we're supposed to care about, cards over cases, an SGC 9.5 is very often equivalent in my mind to a PSA 10. And would I rather have a 10 on there? Yeah, it looks good slapped on either one of those labels. However, I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like, yeah, I want that 9.5 all day. So let's talk about some takeaways. And I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. Throw it out there. Your boy want to hear it. So number one, this means there will be fewer PSA 10s. Fewer PSA 10s. So the tighter centering, it's going to mean the gem mints are going to be less. And you guys know with this, scarcity drives value. And so whereas, I don't know what the latest number is, but like, what is it? Luka, Prism, Base, PSA 10s, there was like, I don't know, 30,000 of those graded. Maybe that was Zion or Luka or both. 30,000 PSA 10s. That's a lot. It's like, it'd be tough to reach the bottom of that bucket. They still sell well, but it's dropped. Like Zion, I almost said Nashville. Zion, because I just saw a sticker from Nashville. That's why you don't care for the details. Zion, Prism, Base, PSA 10s were selling for over $800 for a while. Now you get them for less than 50, I think. And it's because we realize there's a ton of them. Also Zion's market, but Luka's doing great. He's on the Lakers. his stuff's still. I just sold that base PSA 10. I bought it for $470 after tax. Sold it for $300 at the whenever it bounced because of the Lakers trade. Also, still absolutely crazier than it's crazier than Shutter Island. I'll tell you that right now that they made that trade. Okay, so what does this mean for PSA 9s? Will they come up in value? What are your thoughts? Will they come up in value? Will we start looking at SGC 95s different or BGS 95s different compared to this? Okay. Number two, the thing I want to look at with this is the silent rule changes in the dead of night. PSA just changes the website. Okay. There's a lot of people that they don't trust different grading companies. I don't trust, there's some people, you saw the conspiracy theories with the Paul Skeen stuff. Nobody trusts anybody. Let's just be real. There's a lot of people that don't trust people, but PSA will throw us emails in our inbox. Why didn't they toss us in? Why didn't they make this announcement? Like, hey, we're getting a little tighter 10s. Also, what does this mean for what the 10s that are already out there? They're like, because PSA does a thing. If you send a card in to get reslabbed and they don't think it's still that grade, I think they compensate you the difference. I think I heard that. Don't quote me on that. But they'll take the grade down, knock it down. Like that's what I'm scared. I've got that Kobe Auto. It's graded. It's a PSA slab. It's a PSA 6, but also like a 9, I think. 8 or 9 authentic. I guess I could look at it. Where is that little guy? I don't know. I've got that one, and I'm scared to send in. I called PSA. I was like, I didn't want to tell them which card it was in case they decerted it. I'm like, oh, cool. I just wasted $1,000 on this Kobe that's not legit anymore. And so I've called, and I've tried to get a correct answer from them. Like, if I send it in and you graded this, but now you don't think it's legit, do I lose $1,000? And the guy on the phone could not. He went off and checked. He couldn't give me a legit answer. So I'm scared to send it in, and I don't want to sell it to somebody and sell them a fake. So I had one guy brought it to the Nashville Card Show, and I just was like, hey, he looked at it, asked about it, and I said, here's the deal. And I told it to him. He didn't want to buy it. I don't blame him. But I would be nervous to do it. So that's the fear. If I resend in a PSA 10, but it's an old slab and I want to get an updated slab, are they going to be, nope, that's actually an 8 or a 9. You know what I mean? Are they going to down it because of that? Okay. So here's my thought. I think with grading, Beckett has the subgrades, which is awesome. Arena Club does an awesome job. They show you actually a breakdown of why it graded. It has subgrades, but then it also does an AI thing where it shows you the centering stuff. PSA, SGC, they're not as open with hey, because they don't have subgrades on either of those. They're not as open with that. A lot of times you can tell what it is, but I feel like people crave transparency in this industry, especially from the larger companies. And I think the more transparency you can have, one thing I love about SGC is Pete, he's the president. He'll come on and just make an announcement and talk about, he'll talk about issues they're having. Oh, we've slowed down. We're, 13-day turnaround as opposed to 8 to 9. He'll talk about that. He'll bring up the negatives and explain why they're not doing promos or this or that. I don't know of anybody from PSA that comes out and is like, hey, here, I'm speaking for PSA. I've never heard them release anything that was less than just glorifying to what they're doing. So it's not really in their brand to do this. And I know there's companies, there's celebrities, there's athletes, there's politicians that have this persona of I don't lose, even when they lose. And then we as customers have to decide, are we cool with that? Are we cool with your lack of transparency or lack of willingness to admit where you fall short? And that's for each one of us to decide. And so here's my question to you. Would you keep playing a game? If you're playing a game, would you keep playing a game if they change the rules midseason? How would that make you feel? Would you want transparency? Or we hit this with the basketball thing. Remember last year after the All-Star break, they the refs tightened up on defense stuff. What was it? Oh, no, they stopped calling petty defensive stuff as much as they did. And there was a noticeable difference. And they were like, oh, we don't know what happened. But then later they were like, oh, yeah, we did this. We want transparency. We want honesty. We want openness whenever it comes to most things. Most of us do, I think. I'd love to know what you think in the comments if you're on YouTube. So my next question is, did this mean that PSA is admitting that they were too lenient with those grades? Why was 60-40 okay before? Why isn't it okay now? Why were they handing out 10s on 60-40? Was it too easy? Are you tightening it up because you're getting too many gems? I think I read a stat the other day. I think it said that of the 75 million cards that PSA has graded, 25 million have gotten 10s. And so that's a third. That seems a lot for perfection. Am I right? So the past collectors who bought PSA 10s might wonder if their card actually deserves the grade. Are you going to look up, are you Are you? That's hungry. I don't know why I started doing that. Are you gonna like look at your old PSA 10s and be like, oh, you don't quite hold up? Like, what are your thoughts on that? So let me know. Also, another question. Do you think this will impact people sending in stuff to get reholdered? Honestly, I'm scared of that anyways, but do you think I've only sent in like one? I think I sent in my LeBron Topps rookie because it was a PSA 8.5 I bought on eBay and it looked sketchy. Like there was like little things. It's like, oh, there's some little red flags. So I sent it in to get re-slabbed and it held up. It was legit. It was an 8.5 still. So would you ever like, does this gonna hit? Here's what I want to know from you. Is this gonna keep you from like cracking some 9s or cracking stuff out of other slabs and sending in to try to get 10s? Like, do you think this will help some of the pop control with that, where people are trying to like get a PSA 10 so they send it in? Like, I don't know. I would love to know what the if there. I say that we think everybody hears these news stories. I don't think everybody's gonna hear it. So here's my other thing. Do you think PSA did this to align with other graders? Do you think like SGC, they already require the 55-45 centering for a 10? Like that was already theirs. Beckett, CGC, they have stricter centering rules than PSA. Maybe PSA wanted to fall in line with everybody else and be like, oh, we don't want to be known as it's a little off center, send it to PSA kind of person. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Final thoughts. I'd love to know if you have the comments. If you're in somewhere where you can give comments, Spotify or YouTube. Is this a smart move, or are they trying to like, or do you think it's like something great, like a market manipulation? What do you think is going to come out of this? I would love to know your thoughts. My personal thoughts, I like it because, and while I enjoy getting a 10 just as much as the next guy, I love my Luka optic that's off center, got a 10. That's great because a lot of people don't give two turds if, oh, it's a little off center. Most people don't, a lot of people don't look at the card, look at the label. That's why it's always cards over cases, you guys. All right. So look at the card, eye it up, see if it's a card you want. And then, that's the card you're getting. Don't care as much about the label. I say that we're all just going to buy whatever the grade is. So keep in mind, I say that to be honest, I do that too sometimes. I just look up, oh, what are the comps? And I don't look at the card. I look at, oh, it graded this. Because I put trust in grading companies. It's like I know the way the game is played. When I'm trying to sell my cards at the table, the buyer isn't going to, I've never had a buyer go, well, I know it says PSA 9, but it's got a little bit of this. Or I know it says PSA 10, but it's a little bit off. Nobody's ever said that. They see the grade. That's what they comp it at. And so I know that's the way the game's played, but should it be? Should it be played like that? So I'd love to know your thoughts. Follow your heart when you're buying cards over cases. But also, they look good in them slabs. Am I right, guys? Let me see. Can't stop showing this card. Love this card. Because Jordan Poole's my main collect. I saw you couldn't see that. If you're on the audio, this is audio podcast, and I showed you a card. It was an SGC 9 of the Jordan Poole Choice Tiger Stripe Prism rookie. And I've been posting, I try to post like one photo a day. I post some 2 or 3 videos a day, shorts. And then I have these long videos or these, podcasts are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but they also go on YouTube. And then Tuesday, Thursday, I do a card specific video where it's like showing cards, either grade reveals or PC or something like that. I'm showing cards instead of just talking cards. But I try to have a long YouTube video Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So if you didn't know that, you're like, oh, you see it when it pops in the algorithm. You're more than welcome at like 7 or 8 a.m. every morning, weekday. I got a new vid, so check it out on YouTube. But I don't know why I brought this up. Oh, because I was just letting you know. The photos. So I do the long videos Monday through Friday on YouTube. It's also podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday because, it goes there as well. And then I have 2 or 3 short videos. But what I've tried to do more is just toss a photo up. And so like I'm trying to do one photo every night and I toss it on Instagram at Tarver Cards. And then I also toss it on Mantle. I've really liked Mantle and great community there. So I'll toss it on there as well. So I'd love to know your thoughts. I don't know why I brought up the fact that I've literally, my brain, it's like a Denzel Washington movie where he's trying to stop a train and mine is just off the track. Sorry, Denzel. Ain't no getting this thing back on. It's off the rails. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want, I'm trying to think of any updates. I never do any updates. I just like talk about the vid and say, blah, later. If you stayed this long, I'll let you know. Oh, I just dropped a video dropped today, which I don't know when this goes live, but dropped today. I got a bunch. I'm doing a 2 slab repack, mystery pack, whatever you want to call it. Whatever doesn't sound as offensive to you. I call it the Chicken Nugget Super Fun Pack. It's got 2 slabs in it. You get it for $40. I've got it on Whatnot. I'm trying to get on eBay too, but it's like to do it to where it's like I'm trying to use On Mascot to link them, but it's not linking because I want people like some people are like not happy with Whatnot, which is fine. I need I need a platform to sell stuff on, and I'm not allowed on Fanatics because they do it for like new, people that have like allocation. And so I'm trying to figure out where to sell those. I'll probably sell them if I go to shows, but yeah, it's 2 slabs. And I think the biggest hit, there might be one in there that's worth more that I don't know, but the one that I know the value of is a LaMelo Ball PSA 10 silver. And is it off center? I don't know. You be the judge. But the last comps on it were like 312 to 340 something. So, give it what, 320 minimum. So, and you'll get that plus another slab, and that's the best hit you can get, to my knowledge. So, if you want to check it out, the link, you can go to tarvercards.com, and it says a whatnot link there, or you can link under this video if you're on YouTube. I'm trying to think of the shortest way to get there. Tarvercards.com, just click the whatnot. It's in my whatnot store. I've also got it linked underneath my whatnot store, linked under here. But again, I'm trying to get it on eBay and everywhere else. But it's the Chicken Nugget Super Fun Pack Basketball Volume 2. So if you want it, go get it. If you don't. But I try to put a lot of good young players in there. There's a few like 90s ones in there. I even got one. It's a Pete Maravich from like the 70s. I got that one in there. It looks cool. He's wearing a Jazz. I think it's a 1970. I can't remember. It's in one of there, but you get 2 slabs for $40. I figure it costs, 15 to grade. There's Arena Club graded ones. There's some Beckett. There's SGC, and then there's some PSA. So I pretty much I went through my PC and I was like trying to trim it up, but then also I had a bunch of cards that had just gotten in from Arena Club. So I just kind of tossed them all in there. So 2 cards, $40. Done pitching my stuff. If you want to check it out, tarvercards.com, click on the whatnot. I love you guys. All right, I'm done. I figured if I get to the end of this, like we could talk about it, because it's like you stay, like you probably like very few people are going to watch me talk and ramble about PSA's centering thing for like 10 to 15 minutes. And by the being like, oh, I hate this so much. I hate this guy. I don't want to hear him anymore. And they kept listening. So if you made it this far, dope. I hope you get the LaMelo Ball Silver Prism PSA 10. So y'all be good. Stay sweet and never stop collecting. Sports cards are dope. So are you. Later. Bye.